Okay, we're watching BeatsByAmeer, who's going to be playing Winston, Doom, and Diva on Blizzard.World. This is Plat 5 on PC. Hard stuck Plat tank with consistently bad teammates looking for VOD review. I'm getting real tilted all the time by my teammates who play poorly. I had a game recently where my supports refused to heal or damage boost me, so we lost. Mercy kept hard proccing our soldier and being oblivious, while Kiriko never bothered swift stepping and Suzumi when I'm occupying their whole team. When I pointed this out, they started getting angry at me, and that did cause me to play worse. I usually play dive tanks because I can't really count on my team to get picks. I don't think I play perfectly, but often I find myself as the most impactful player on the team. Let me know what you think. What can I do better to make up for my team's shortcomings? At wit's end here. Should I be picking different characters? I think I played well this game, pushing up forward in the beginning and making space. We lose the first fight by the initial choke because there was no follow-up, and then in the chaos, nobody bothered to contest the point. Later on, the second point, I was close to primal, and my supports didn't keep me up, so I die at 98% ult. At that point, I just noticed our soldier just running it down, popping visor, and getting killed for no value, and game was pretty much lost. So, in case you were not aware, the Overwatch University community is not... They're not necessarily big fans of people who blame their teammates. Because, again, it doesn't make any sense to blame your teammates, because they can't be the same teammates every game. It's not like you're playing in a 5-stack and you're blaming, your 4 friends. You have different teammates every single game. And if the problem is all your teammates every single game, then the problem must be you, right? That's like saying, oh, every single significant other I've ever dated is awful. Well, at that point, I had a question, are they truly awful, or is your taste awful to keep selecting those significant others? Like, it doesn't make any sense. You should focus on your own play. But this is especially funny because I've already done a pre-watch of this replay, and it's going to look really bad for you. And I'm going to do this as a heads up because it's going to look really, really bad for you. There's an enormous discrepancy between what you think is going on and what is actually happening in the game. And we're going to highlight that in this video. So let's begin. All right, so you're playing Winston. I think Winston's very unusual to play on Blizzard.World first point on defense. I think it's really hard because there's actually not that much vertical space. There's a lot of open ground over here, and then you go up top, and that doesn't really prevent, it gives them open lanes to the point. And typically, you want to play heroes like tanks that are good at controlling these two corners, right? So Brawl is very, very common in the situation. I think on dive, on offense is actually much better, but on defense, I think it's quite hard to hold high ground against the opposing team. Is it impossible? No, absolutely not. And in Plat 5, totally viable. I'm just noting, not necessarily, I certainly would not be picking Winston in this situation, as somebody who plays Winston a lot. All right, you play choke. I mean, if you're going to play Winston, I think this is the right call. Just kind of hide here and get up. You see backline. You go in. You got a melee, right? Start zapping. Kill the Widow. Great. Mercy low. Great. Melee, good melee cancel. All right, zap. Kill Drunk Queen. Now, I'm going to pause right here because I bet you think, man, I did so much here. I did a great job, right? I'm like 99% sure that you're feeling really good about this. So I'm going to do the third person view and just demonstrate how much you did versus how much your team did. So let's look at this. So your team goes in. So you jump. Okay, this is a good jump on the Widow. All right, ideally you should have landed in the middle, but that's fine. Widow gets low. All right. And then note that the Hanzo's already at 50 health, okay? You put the bubble down. For the record, you should have been slept/naded right there, but I don't know what happens to both of them, right? And then Hanzo dies. You chase down the Widow, kills the Widow. You see the Mercy comes in? The Mercy's already under half health, or basically at half health, before you've done any damage to her. That's your team that did that. You come in, and then you kill the Mercy. And actually, going back to why is the Widow there to begin with, okay? So if you see the Widow's over here, she gets low from taking damage from your DPS. Then she walks over here to come to the end to get healed, and then you go after and kill her. So even then, that's like sort of an assist on the Widow. Then you kill the Mercy. Again, that's like pretty much all your team. At that point, it was just easy. The Junker Queen has no health, and you did nothing here except jump on her. So that is... Like, I'm not saying you didn't do anything here. Like, I think this is still a good play. I personally would never jump through the choke like that, but like, looking at the results, I think this is a good play. But definitely don't look at this fight and be like, oh, my team did nothing. I just killed 3 people, right? Your team did a ton of work there. A ton of work. And considering the fact that you put 0 pressure on the team until you jumped through that choke, your team did really, really well in that situation. And I want you to remember that because it's going to be relevant later. So, 4 people have died. You're feeling really good about yourself, okay? 360, 380, 400 health, okay, 430. And then you decide to chase this Ana in front of their spawn, understanding that the people you just killed should be spawning right now. you can see that 1, 2, 3 people are spawned, and they can all see you. And you decide to fight this Ana. You do a bad jump. You also miss a melee here, I think. Yep, you missed the melee. You missed the second melee. This is pretty bad. I think you might have even missed that melee. And then, now you don't have jump, and you don't have bubble, and you get absolutely obliterated. Is this your team's fault? Is this your DPS fault for not getting any picks right now when you dove the Ana in their spawn? Is this your support fault for not like flying over here and standing right here in front of their spawn and trying to pocket you? No, this is clearly your fault. Right? There's no world where this could possibly be anyone's fault but yours. This is an actually like brain dead play for you to be doing right now. Like look at this situation and think, man, I shouldn't have done that. And the thing is, Bliz.World first point is a very small point. Like the distance from them to the point is very, very short, which means if you die, you typically do not get a recontest. Not a real recontest, at least. Not like a serious recontest. Your team actually is going to do a reasonable job slowing them down enough, right? See, just got pick on the Mercy, right? Which is not expected here at all, whatsoever. For the record, you still aren't even here. You traded, so now it's 3 and 4. Okay, now it's now you're back in, right? So it's 2 on 4, but you're back in, so 3 and 4. And now you've come back up. So, you also decided to go this way, which I don't really agree with, but I think you should have just gone regular, right? Gone main, played your supports. That's not the biggest deal. Everyone can hear you here, for the record. Like, you're super loud. Everyone can hear you running here, and this Ana should have slept and they didn't just kill you. Queen turns for you, too late. Bastion's here. This is actually pretty good movement right here. It's very lucky the Bastion is this low. I don't really understand why he's this low. Like, I have no idea how a Bastion ends up coming in here with 3/4 of his health missing, because you should be dead right now. But, okay. Like, I don't really think this is a good play, because there's no reason this should happen. Hero comes to you to try to heal, right? Great. Now, points about the cap. You clip the top of the shed, so you don't end up getting a good jump. You land with just a fraction of time left on the point. And this is also super relevant. Because you jumped so late, even though you were full health earlier, right? For example, you could have jumped right here, right? And then just pick the angle that went this way. But because you jumped so late, now somebody absolutely has to stand on the point the entire time. Now let's just think for a second. Whose job is it to stand on the point? Typically the tanks, but you're also a dive tank, so there are times you have to leave the point. But you have to confirm, hey, is anybody else on the point before I dive off? Because they may not be able to stand on the tank for a variety on the point for a variety of reasons. I'm just noting that. So let's think about that. Go in the Genji, you put this bubble down, you walk off the point, which I think is mistake number 1. There's no reason to walk off the point. You know, like I understand trying to bubble dance, but you're nearly full health inside of a bubble. Like I think you just play here just in case it gets capped, right? Because it gets very, very close there. Okay, Ana's here. You miss an opportunity to jump and insta-killer, which even though it goes into 4 people, is totally worth it right now. You need to get a pick here. Okay, you don't decide to go. You didn't even need to reload. You could just jumped on her and melee. She was definitely gonna die. No problem. So we cleave, and then point gets capped. So let me reread the post. We lost the first fight by the initial choke because there was no follow-up. You mean the one where you jump the Ana at their spawn? Yes, there was no follow-up to you jumping the Ana in their spawn, as previously discussed. And then in the chaos, nobody, quote-unquote, nobody bothered to contest the point. I'd like to point out, first of all, you are on this point. Second, there are 2 supports pocketing you right now. Okay? Is it a mistake that Kiriko stepped off the point? It is. It's also more so your mistake for not being on the point. You are basically full health, being double pocketed in a bubble. Why did you walk off the point? Like, what possible reason? You're like trying to bubble dance here when you have tons of health. This is a massive mistake that you have made here. Right? Kiriko probably shouldn't have stepped off the point, but you definitely shouldn't have stepped off the point, and there was no reason that this should have happened. And this is a really big deal, right? This is probably ends up being like at least a 1-minute difference in how long this point would have been held if you had not stepped off the point. Okay, so points lost. You kind of tried to retreat here, which is a good general idea. I don't like the actual mechanics of how this played out, but it's fine. So after this Genji dashes past you, you should immediately turn, pop bubble, and kill the Genji. Right? Because he doesn't have dash. How is he going to survive? He has to die here. This is like the easiest pick that you're ever gonna get as Winston. Just put bubble down and just zap Genji. Unless he instantly killed somebody when he went in, this Genji is dead. Instead, you waste your time trying to zap the Ana, right? We saw over here where you're like trying to right-click the Ana. Again, even if you hit her, right? She has about 75 health, right? 70 health right there. You would have to hit a fully charged shot, which is like, what, 3 seconds? Then a second nearly fully charged shot to kill her. There's no way you're going to have like 7 seconds-ish to shoot that Ana. That's just not going to happen. Versus killing this Genji in 2 seconds. This is very silly. Very poor play. Okay. You jump this Genji, but despite the fact that you saw that a wall had went up, you pop bubble anyway. I don't know if you knew that that wall broke, but I don't think I would have known that moment, so I would not have popped bubble there. Genji dies because Genji's a fool. You jump. I think this is okay, right? Because it's an even fight, but you're getting a res. I think this is reasonable to jump here. You're on the Ana. You just sit in her face. But remember about that Bastion? You don't really have a good plan for the Bastion, and we're going to notice that for a while here. So you definitely make a mistake jumping in. Again, I think it's understandable. I think my point about jumping in was actually a good idea before I remember that there's a Bastion in this game. But you should have known there was a Bastion in this game already. And you should have been thinking in your head, hey, there's a Bastion. I'm playing Winston. Winston's not good against Bastion. I have to stay away from the Bastion. Bastion comes in, obliterates you. You pop Primal here. Great. What is the plan now? Well, your team manages to walk in, despite the fact that you're not doing anything right now. You're not like attracting attention or making space. Let's watch this Primal, okay? So you go. Jump. Right now, I would say you are quote-unquote making space by feeding all your health away, sure. Right, you pop Primal, and then you hit. And then that's pretty much the only thing you do after this, right? You miss everybody going through that. I want to make very clear. You miss everybody going through this. Oh, I guess you happen to hit the Bastion. Right? But you miss the Junker Queen, you miss the Mercy. And after that, you don't hit the Mercy there. Now you finally hit the Mercy, right? The fight's basically over now because your soldier just killed 2. Right? Then you barely hit the Mercy. And then this is just clean up. Right? You know who won that fight? Your soldier did. Just like he did the previous fight as well, where he did a ton of work. The previous 2 fights where the soldier did a lot of work. Your soldier's actually doing a ton this game, partially because he's Mercy pocketing. So once again, you decide to jump their spawn. Bastion comes out, you put out bubble, you get hit by cleave, you get shredded, and then you jump this way. Now, what do you think should happen here? Like, let's pause for a second and think. Does this seem like a good place to be playing Winston? Right? Does this feel like, man, I feel safe here? This definitely feels like a place I can go to and like recover and heal. Or does this think, man, I'm really overextended. They can come out of the spawn and then kill me or pin me here. Because that's the way that feels to me. Do you expect your Kiriko to run over here and then swift step and then stand here with you? Is that what you think is going to happen? Because she's going to die after she swift steps. Because then they're just going to kill her. This is not a place that people play. Right? You're just like making up your own spots as to where to play Winston. This is not a viable spot because they're going to come out and they're going to shred you. Right? Now you've just lost 250 health doing absolutely nothing. You just stand in front of this doorway and get obliterated. Okay? So now you have to come back and you're super, super low. You put bubble down. Right? Your supports heal you back up. Kill Genji. Great. Genji's full. You should reload right now. Look, you're 13 ammo. Right? Again, you just wasted all your ammo. Now you're not doing anything during the fact that Mei is frozen. Wait, where's that freeze? Yeah, despite the fact that Mei's frozen, Junk Queen, and you could, for example, jump here. Actually, you can't, not with that time, but you could jump over here, zap the Ana, force the Bastion to turn or something like that. But instead you go after the Mercy. This is like the most impotent thing I've ever seen. I would just like to back up and watch this from the side view to show just how useless this was. You completely misjudged this. She's also Valked right now, which makes there's like basically no chance that you have it killing her. Yep, that's what that looks like. So you waste that jump completely. Then Bastion pops ulti. I don't know if you knew this, but your shield does not in fact stop the ulti going out. So he fires all the shots. So instead of your bubble being used to save your team or anything like that, you're just zapping this Bastion. Again, the Bastion has 300 health with armor. Like, there's no way this Bastion's going to die. It's just not possible. Okay? May's come over here to help you out. That's most of the damage honestly is coming from the May right now. So your team has lost 2, your team has lost 3, and what are you doing? Okay, so again, rewind this back. So May pops ulti. It's not a great ulti, right? Back when she popped it over here, but it does take the tank. Okay, it is an opportunity. You do this terrible jump, which is like the most critical moment where you really need to do something, and you waste that. Then you're wasting your time over here, not doing anything. Junker Queen is just running over your back line, and you're not doing anything. I don't really know what you expect your team to do differently here. You know? Like, what is your team supposed to do about the Junker Queen who just runs at them? You know, plus the Bastion ulti, right? Like, your team's all over here. They do a good job holding this. Bastion ulti happens. They all have to spread out. Soldier eats this. Junker Queen goes in. Right? Kills the support. Might kill the other support. Yeah, kills the other support. What are you doing in this period of time? Nothing! You're not doing anything! You're not getting any kills! Right? That Junker Queen just killed 3! You killed 0! What do you expect here? It's not like she had help, right? Like, you at least had the May with you, you still couldn't get a kill. Alright, so you bubble here. You get out. So you're trying to go for the reset. I honestly probably would have just died and gone any hero besides Winston in this situation. But honestly, this point's actually better for Winston, so that's fine. So you're super low right now. You're at 280 health. Your supports have just respawned. You should give them a second to heal you, but you are way too impatient and you decide to go. So you're 290 health. You land behind the cart. Again, you're missing half of your health right now. You go in the Ana. She misses a grenade on you. Bastion pops tank form and you die. What do you want from your team in this situation? Like, your team just spawned. They're running pretty much as fast as they possibly can to the point. The soldier's fighting. Soldier gets a kill on the Junkrat. Okay, now he's running forwards. But by the time this happens, you're already dead. Right? You see? The soldier wins, right? Kills the Junkrat. And then you're dead. And the soldier walks up and is like, okay, well, I guess he has to kill everybody now because you're just constantly dead. You're just dead all the time. All the time. You're dead or not there. All the time. Again, he pops visor. He just killed 3. Your soldier literally is carrying you through this game. Like, you're the heaviest weight, and he is just solo carrying you through this game. Like, if you don't believe me, like, just look at the replay. Like, he's getting all the kills. Junkrat's here. Do this funky jump. Actually, pretty good movement, all things considered. But again, the Bastion is here. So, once again, you're jumping to the Bastion. I feel like you're the kind of person who complains about Bastion as a hero. You're just like, this hero's stupid, right? You know, there really shouldn't be a hero that punishes me for my very poor positioning play. You know? Like, what do you think is going to happen here when you jump in? Again, just you and the Tracer. The rest of your team is playing back, which I think is sensible because it's not a good place to fight anymore. And then you die, and you just feed yourself and die. You know, again, look at pop view. Okay, you go after the Junkrat, zap, whack, right? It gets pretty low. Then you decide to chase him down. Way too greedy, get blown up. And once again, your team is in a 4 and 5, except for the fact that they killed DPS, so it actually trades. Some of the stuff happens, doesn't matter. All right, you come back again. So you decide to jump down main instead of trying to take high ground, for example. You put bubble down. This is not really a great bubble because, again, nobody actually needs this bubble except you, and you're not actually doing a lot with it. Right? Mercy and Kiriko are already behind the corner. You're zapping. Really what you should have done is you should have jumped up top left and then zapped from up here and then zapped the supports and then use Primal when you need to. That's what you should have done instead of trying to play main. Now you do this vertical jump onto the point. You get of all heroes to attack, you decide to attack the Bastion, the tankiest hero who's also being pocketed by a Mercy right now, and you get absolutely shredded. Then you pop Primal. Then you decide to chase the Bastion, who, for the record, does not have tank form right now, which means he's not dangerous. He's basically like, you know, a harmless pet at this moment in time. You should have killed the supports, right? Would have been really, really key, or the Junkrat would have been really good. Instead, you chase this Bastion around. Notice how little damage you're doing to this Bastion. I don't know what this up-down shaking is. You get slept. Okay, again, still trying to kill the Bastion. He just ults you. Okay, again, point has already been capped. You're still alive back here with 216 health. Like, what are you doing? Now you're just staggering yourself, unless you think that there's a way that you can get back to your team. I don't know how you get back to the team. I have no idea what your plan is here. continuing to stagger yourself. At this point, your team has been without a tank for about 20-something seconds. I don't know what that bubble is. You grab the Mega. It's probably been, what, 40 seconds now when your team has been without a tank? Team's still getting picks, right? Killed the Bastion. Killed the Ana. Right? Does some trades out. They don't have a tank, for the record. Your team is fighting 4 and 5 this entire time. You're just zapping back here as though you're some sort of like long-range sniper monkey. You jump in and you're just gonna die instantly. And that's exactly what happens. So, for frame of reference, let's just figure out just how long it is that you're doing absolutely nothing. So I will give you, on a 1 to 10 scale of value, I'll give you a 2 for attacking the Bastion. Like, this is a very poor value thing to do, but at least you're doing something. Okay, at least you're doing something. But the moment that he pops ulti, right? After this, you're not doing anything more. I didn't even agree with that. 525 is when this happens. After this, I don't think you do a single point of damage for forever. So from 525 until you dove in at 624 for a full minute, you do literally nothing. And your something that you do after 1 minute of AFK time, I literally could have done more value than you just by taking my hands off the keyboard at 525 and just letting the Bastion kill me. You know, like that, and then going to get a drink of water for 30 seconds and then coming back. I still would have gotten more value than what you did running around for that whole minute. In fact, more than 30 seconds, because honestly, you're gonna die instantly here, and then not be able to participate for another 15 seconds. This is atrocious play. Absolutely atrocious play. I cannot imagine how you think you could win a game going AFK for a full minute. Tyre comes out. You really need to touch the point. You have no choice right now. Like, this is not gonna matter. You're just dead. Like, you just stagger yourself completely. You never got a fight on the entire third point, a third of the map, because you decided to just venture off into Narnia, doing your own thing, because that made you feel good or something. I don't know. Great job. So, I see that you went Doomfist. This is really interesting because people rarely switch to Doomfist as a follow-up. Because Doomfist requires a very specialized skill set. So if you spend that time training that skill set, you usually open as Doom and then switch to other heroes if Doom isn't working. It is extraordinarily rare that I see somebody who plays another tank hero first and then switches to Doom. Because usually it means that they don't actually know how to play Doom. So let's find out if you know how to play Doom. I don't know how to play Doom. Doom is not one of my heroes. I'm not going to pretend for a second. I don't think I've even played an hour of Doom in my life. I'm not going to pretend that I know how to play Doom. Your team gets a pick right away. Widow kills the Bastion. Wow, that's really impressive. You block. Block doesn't get to you. You punch here for some reason. Alright, Seismic. You shoot. This doesn't feel like good Doom play, but it doesn't feel like terrible play necessarily. Now you're stuck in here with the Bastion. You don't block soon enough, and you get absolutely shredded and die. That feels like a really bad play. I think that you definitely could have blocked and helped this entire Bastion. Right? Right here, you could have blocked earlier and just not taken damage. Right? It blocked, what, like 90, 95% of the damage? No reason for you to die there. Okay, you come back. Again, you don't use Seismic Slam to climb, which would make your life a lot faster, right? You get there a lot sooner. Instead, you just walk it, as though you're not one of the most mobile heroes in the entire game. Okay, so you walk back. Again, Bastion's up there alone. You have the opportunity to Seismic Slam and then punch him. Instead, you do this thing again, where I feel like you forget that Doomfist has vertical mobility. Okay, you do this. The thing is, like, you have your back to the Bastion, but you're also getting shot from behind. So what you really should have done is you should have stepped this way. That way you couldn't have been shot from everyone else on the point. You take a ton of damage, and then you die again. So far, you've wasted like a minute doing absolutely nothing of value. Alright, you come out as Diva. You waste missiles right away, despite the fact that you have a really good opportunity to kill her right now. If you had, right at this moment, just walked up. I know you don't boost, but just walk up right here, get behind her, body block, and then activate missiles, she dies right now. But you waste missiles. Tracking's not good enough. You don't body block her. You go for the Mercy, but when you go for the Mercy, you also manage to, first of all, you don't do anything about the Bastion, so this is not the right time to go. You should just cancel boost and just Matrix and walk around the corner, A. B, even when you do go for the Mercy, you don't even bump the Mercy correctly. So you should have hit her and then kept, right now, your mouse should not be here. It should be at the Mercy, dead on the Mercy. That way you're shooting the Mercy. And then you totally lose track of her. Instead, you're shooting just wildly into the air. You get demeched. You get the Mega, which keeps you alive for a few seconds longer, which honestly actually hurts you more than anything else, and then you die. Look at the kill feed. Okay, take a second. Right? Soldier kills Mercy. Wait, I want the previous one too. Alright, Soldier kills Mercy. There's another kill here, isn't there? Oh, he kills the Bastion. That's what it is. I just happened to do it too. Right, Soldier kills Bastion. Right, you lose mech. You have this silly fight. And then Soldier kills Mercy. So, despite the fact that you were throwing the game, your Soldier has killed 2 of the opposing team again. You come back out again as Diva. It does not appear that you know how to play. You definitely know how to play Doomfist. It does not appear that you know how to play Diva either. Certainly not at the level you're at. Your Widow gets another kill. You go for the Junker Queen, who's low. Use missiles, but your tracking is really bad. And if you don't believe me, I have no idea what you're aiming at for most of this. Junker Queen's nanoed, so your priority right now should just be to basically back up, hold nano or her matrix whenever she's trying to kill somebody. You, not such a big deal. You should prevent her from doing exactly that, which is going and killing your team. Right? So when she starts going this way towards your soldier, okay, you have the opportunity right now to boost and bump her away from your team, and that would prevent this cleave from happening. Instead, you don't do that because you basically never use any of your abilities to ever try to save teammates. You don't seem to even realize that's a thing that matters. Then you fly onto their high ground, which is generally a good spot, except you're missing half of your health and your team is dead. So what is your plan from here? Right? Like, you're just going to lose mech. You're just wasting time. Like, you're one of the worst staggerers I've ever seen. Whenever I see posts where people are like, oh, like, don't stagger, you should group up, etc., I'm like, I don't feel like it's that bad. Because most of the games I watch, it's really not that bad. It's only like a few seconds. You stagger for literally like 30 to 60 seconds of time that you waste like doing this like random BS. Okay, you come back in, 5-on-5 situation. So once again, you're playing way too far away. Like this damage, you see how, look at their health bars. Does it look like you're doing damage to them right now? You're literally doing like 10 damage a second. You have to be playing, at a minimum, play this corner, right? Don't play far away. Diva's not a far away hero. 1. 2, take this opportunity to go and challenge Bastion, okay? You go up, force tank form, and then drop, right? And then you waste tank form. Great. And then go back up when tank form's done. Just don't lose so much health in the process. You come over here, you have 240 health. It's very unfortunate. Once again, you waste another whole set of missiles, just shooting at, like, nothing, basically. Does it look like your missiles are landing? You landed, I don't know, 25% of those missiles. I really shouldn't opt in and start chewing this video, but of course I haven't. Okay, so you're gonna get nanoed here, which is a terrible call. I cannot imagine playing this game and being the Ana and be like, I should nano my tank, because you played so badly this whole game. I would think that this is going to be useless. I would 100% nano the soldier. Okay, but regardless, you do get nano. Going for the Lucio. Pretty good tracking. You kill Lucio right there. And then, what's your next move? All right, you turn DM, which is not such a great idea. The soldier is kind of overextended, so you can try to get her, but you're already in the back line, and it takes time to go there, so I would just kill the Ana or the Bastion while I'm back. You see the Bastion's low. Again, you have the opportunity to just kind of try to kill him right now. I don't know why you're matrixing. Like, you're wasting critical moments of nano. You have 546 health right now, and you're nanoed, so you take half damage. So you effectively have 1100 health. There's no reason right now to be matrixing. You should be shooting the Bastion, and as soon as that's over, as soon as your cooldowns are up, you should immediately boost and missiles, and this Bastion instantly dies. Instead, you choose not to do those things, right? We're doing way too late. You bump the Bastion. You see the Bastion on your screen. You bump him again. Like, I don't think you play Diva because it's obvious, like, you can't track. You see the Bastion has 50 health. You could kill him in literally half a second. You decide to go for the Ana instead of killing the Bastion. And once again, you turn instinctively Matrix. Now the Bastion's being pocketed. right? And Anna's gonna have her cooldowns back. And then you come back to point. Then you throw this bomb. Again, very clearly not a Diva player. Right? This bomb is no good. Like, I can't imagine. If you were thinking about zoning them, like the backline, you should at least put it here. Because if you put it right here, then the Junker Queen would die, and their backline would get zoned. This is a really bad ultimate. Then you cross back over here. So, for example, if I was Anna, I could potentially have slept you, right? Or killed you right there. You get Diva back. You pop missiles again, way too far away to actually do anything. Right? Like, what do you see right here that makes you think missiles are going to hit somebody? Missiles are used to get when you get very close to someone and you bump them, and then missiles are active. That's where, like, right now, missiles would be great. That far away, it won't do anything. Soldier gets another kill on Lucio. You're still not doing very much. You lose mech again. And then you die. Again, the only kill you got was, like, basically at the beginning of the game, you got those, like, 3 kills. And then I don't think you get another final blow until, like, the Lucio with Nano. I'm trying to think if you get any kills after that. It's pretty bad. Like, the Soldier is absolutely carrying you here. Somehow, despite the fact that you feed your life away, your team manages the cap, which just extends this nightmare longer. Okay, you go take high ground, which is fine, except that you just fly in between 3 people instead of just flying in front, right? And then just DMing your soldier so your soldier can kill the Reaper. That's what you should have done. Instead, you fly into 3 people, take a bunch of damage, right? Take even more damage. You're at risk of getting demeched here. You're very lucky to not get demeched. Now you come in and you're super low. I think that was a good Matrix, right? Possibly. Again, another really bad missile usage. I don't think you know how to play Diva at all. So I think you have to reevaluate whether or not this fight is a fight you want to fight. First of all, like, you have all 5 people, but they do a lot of damage here, and your team doesn't really have opportunities to do anything. I think that you probably want to play a little safer. Number one, I would play to the left here to prevent clear sight lines from the left. And then I would shoot the Junker Queen and just kind of give my team time. I think you should also be using Matrix a little bit more, and definitely do not dive in like this, because I would assume you're going to get demeched. Right? You get demeched. Getting demeched as Diva is absolutely terrible. It's basically the same as dying. And then you drop down here. You're still trying to shoot the end. I don't understand why you're trying to get away. Right? Either the fight's winnable or it's not. You're going to get pushed into a corner. You get your mech back, which honestly is worse. Your Kiriko dies trying to save you. I don't know why you're complaining about your supports, right? Your supports are staying with you. Go to the Reaper. Again, not a good trade for you. I don't think you... The Diva versus Reaper is winnable for the Diva, but it's kind of complicated to explain that I'm not going to try to do it right now, and you certainly don't know how to do it. Alright, your whole team is dead. There's no reason for you to be going in. Instead, you decide to go in anyway. You completely waste this bomb. I don't even think you're going to get mech back. You do not. Again, let's watch the vertical view. Like, this is a 4-on-2, right? With the cart right here, and they have cover on this side. What the heck? At the minimum, you should have jumped on top of this and then popped Diva Bomb. But in reality, you shouldn't have fought this at all. You should have just gone back, collected as 5, and went again. Now you're playing Road. Oh, great! I didn't even get to this part of the replay. Now you're playing Roadhog. Let's see if you know how to play Roadhog. So I'm hoping for right-click chain, left-click melee if it's 200 health hero, or step forward and second shot on Reaper or tanks. You miss hook. That's unfortunate. That's actually a relatively easy hook. Right? He's just going in a straight line. Reaper kills everybody. So your soldier kills 2 somehow, which is incredible. Again, considering the fact that soldiers just straight up not how to tank this game. And that's it. So, yeah, what to say? I would start with number 1. I don't think you actually want to win games. I think you would rather lose a game and have you feel like you played well and your team played poorly than have you do what is actually needed by your team and win. I think you literally would. It's like cutting off your nose to spite your face, right? That's what I feel here. Is your soldier could 100% carry you through this game. All you have to do is stay alive. All you have to do is stay alive. And your soldier would carry you in this game. And your soldier repeatedly in 4 and 5, right, 4 and 4, right, situations, consistently kept getting picks over and over and over and over again. And you kept completely throwing that away just through your own egregiously bad play. So number one, I think attitude is a big problem that I'm seeing. Okay, you get upset, you get tilted, you spawn, you just run at the enemy. Okay, regardless of anything else that's going on, like you just decide, hey, I just want to go and do my own thing. I'd rather win playing my own stupid, like incredibly awful style than I would. I'd rather lose playing that way than to win by playing properly. And that's why I highly question whether or not any of the feedback I'm going to give you is going to sink in at all. That's number one. On to actually specific gameplay feedback, I would say number two is your timing of when to go is atrocious. It's like so bad. You overextend all the time in wacky, bizarre scenarios that I literally don't even see from bronze players. I have never seen a tank die, the defending tank die here. I don't know how many hours of Bliz.World I've ever played. Like, I don't know, like 100? I've literally never seen a tank die here on defense. Offense, yeah, it happens, right? They'll chase you back, and they'll get you in a stagger and they'll run back the point. I've never seen a defensive tank die here, ever. Full stop. If you think this is a viable spot for you to be playing and it's your team's fault for not following you out here, you are actually insane. And there's nothing more that I can possibly say. So that's number two on execution. Number three, you definitely don't think about the Bastion at all. And Bastion is one of the most important DPS to track as a tank. Okay, it's super important to recognize, does Bastion have tank form and can he see me? Because if he can, I have to play differently. You don't care. You don't care what the opposing team is doing, right? You're going to go in no matter what. You're going to have the exact same plan, right? They could be running like Reaper Bastion standing on top of their Ana. You're diving that Ana. You just don't care. You literally don't care what their team is doing, and you don't try to react to it at all. Versus Bastion, you bait out tank form, which is last 6 seconds. Then he has a 10-second cooldown where you can do whatever you want and go back to doing your thing and inting. Okay? But if he has tank form, you have to bait that first or go somewhere where he cannot target you. And you don't try to do that at all. Okay? So I would say that as number three, your general reactions to Bastion are really, really poor. Number four, your general mechanics, especially outside of Winston, are horrendous. On both Doomfist and Diva, I won't even blame you for Roadhog because you played Roadhog so briefly, but I also don't think you can play Roadhog. On both Doomfist and Diva, it did not appear that you had played more than a few hours on either one of those heroes. I did not feel like you had any idea how to play them, certainly not at a Plat level. I wouldn't even have believed you if you said you were gold at either one of those heroes. I think that felt like silver, like maybe like mid-silver-ish gameplay to me. Like, you really didn't know what you were doing in that situation at all. Next up, I would say, is supports, or rather, sticking with your supports, or understanding what your supports can do or can't do. You seem to think your supports can teleport and follow you anywhere around the map at any moment in time, instead of recognizing what can they realistically do based on my positioning. And that's where I think a lot of this tilt comes from, is just like, hey, my supports aren't healing you. They're not healing you, not because they don't want to heal you, but because you're in a crazy position playing a super unusual spot that they cannot get to safely. Okay? That's a really big one. And again, there's a lot of things I can mention, but I'm just going to wrap up with a fifth one, which is staggering yourself. I have never seen someone who staggers themselves as much as you do. I am dead serious earlier when I said I literally could have taken my hands off the keyboard, gone and gotten a drink, come back after like 30 to 45 seconds, arguably even 60 seconds, and I would have provided more value than you did on the final defense push, where you did not get one fight in the entire third point. Actually bonkers. I could have literally plucked a bronze tank player and gave them control of your keyboard, and they would have done a better job than you did, because at least they would have died and then tried to fight on the final point at least once, and that would have been more value than you provided your team. So, in closing, stop blaming your team. It's actually crazy. Again, I wish when people blame their team, they would at least submit a replay where like their team actually played poorly. Your soldier, and by extension your mercy as well, right, for pocketing a soldier, absolutely hard carried you through this game. If your soldier was swapped with another random DPS at your level, you would have gotten completely blown out. Like, this game was actually closer. Like, you actually could have won this on offense, is how incredible your soldier played to try to carry your very, very, very heavy tank body through this game to a win. Your soldier tried their absolute best, and yet you continually throw over and over and over again. And I would suspect that you are going to lose even more games with this attitude unless you correct it. Okay? I think you really should listen to what I'm trying to tell you in terms of feedback, which is like, hey, chill out, play with your team, understand where they are. When you do dives, can you survive the dive? If you die when you dive, that is your fault. It's not your support's fault. That is your fault. Okay? If you dive them and then come back and you don't get healed in a timely fashion, that's your support's fault. Okay? But if you dive and you instantly die, that is always your fault. Okay? Dive them in a safe way, stay alive, come back to your supports, get healed, repeat. That is the Winston gameplay loop. Okay? And you don't seem to understand that because you just want to dive in and have the fight end. And that's not typically the way it works, especially against a Bastion. All right, I'm going to pause there. Hopefully this is at least slightly helpful to you and gets through to you in some way.